Hi, my name is Gudrun from GE Designs. Welcome to part 2 of our Phoenix Quilt-a-Long. Hi everybody, how's it going? I hope you are doing well. Just remember, it's not a race. You don't have to be done with step 1. Take your time. The best way to sew is to sew at your own speed. So everybody promise me you're going to sew at your own speed. And if you want to do a little bit of each step with us, just do a few of the step 1s, subcut them, and then a few of the step 2s, part 2s and 3s. So you'll have some parts, some blocks, and then you can always go back later and finish up. All right? So that's how we're going to run this. No stressing, no stress today. I wanted to show you so many great photos from you guys on the Gudrun's Quilt Crew. So a lot of you are sewing together. Let's check out some of your photos. We have, this is Anne and friend having fun. We have Carmen with her sister-in-law. I love the happy faces. Debbie and Sandy are down in Florida. Beautiful sunshine coming through the windows. Ella Lou's got it set up with a big screen TV. We have Jean with a friend. That looks like a beautiful bright space. And then we have 3 best friends sewing together, Joe, Pat, and Lori. That's a great setup. We have a group going over at Cars Quilting just down the street here in Chanhassen. So they're all sewing together with Kim. They came over to the warehouse to shop. Beautiful, beautiful. Hope that's going well. And then Kathy is sewing with her daughter and a little 2-month-old baby. So it's great to get a little cuddles in between. We have Kendra. Look at those smiles. You guys must be sisters or mother-daughter. You look exactly alike. I love the smiles. Kim and friends are working too with a great setup, all hanging out together, and her puppy is even ready. Look at him. Oh my gosh, what a cutie. We have Lori and friends in Wisconsin. I'm on the big screen. Okay, we have more. Oh yeah, we have 4 friends. Look at that great setup. Lori, Janelle, Jane, and Mabel together. And then we have Rebecca's 16-year-old up early doing some cutting. Love that. I think she's making a quilt for her. Well, I shouldn't say that out loud, but she's making a surprise Christmas gift. But that's beautiful. We have Sharon set up with the big, very nice. Looks like there's football on the big screen, and I'm on the computer. Love it. And we have all ages. Check this out. Sheila's grandson is really getting into it and following along and watching. Gotta love that. Teresa and her sister's first quilt. Love it. Thank you for guiding her through it and teaching. I hope you are enjoying it so far. And then Tanya is ready to go. Look at that in her appropriate sewing attire. Gotta love it. All right, so thank you all. Keep the photos coming. We love to see it, and we'll post your progress as we go. Now, of course, part 2, we're going to celebrate something we missed out on last year, and that was summer barbecue get-together with friends. Yes, either barbecues or just outdoor gatherings. We're sometimes limited to a certain number of people, depending on where you lived. And we missed out on a lot of those, actually. What are your favorite things about summer barbecue gatherings? For me, it's like when there's a potluck and there's all kinds of great stuff you can choose from.
Yeah, just hanging out with friends.
Hanging out,
cooking,
chilling. Playing games. Yeah,
playing games outside.
Yes. And we even got a new grill.
Got a new grill.
We got one of those flat top grills, so we have not had anybody over to test that out. We're not meat eaters, so we don't cook meat, but the flat top you do so many things with like stir fry and kind of the hibachi style with the vegetables and all kinds of stuff. And somebody got really into it this year.
Tools here.
Oh, he's ready.
I'm ready.
See, some of it is still in plastic. Because
Yeah, we haven't got to that because we haven't been able to.
yeah, we haven't had people over.
We had maybe one time we was good.
Yeah, we did some stuff ourselves.
I mean,
But I have to tell you, he had to do do the sounds like he was doing the hibachi. Oh, and then the biggest thing, he had to take the rag and scrub the thing.
oh yeah, you gotta put that on there and you
Like they
scrub
do it at the hibachi grill.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yep, he's ready.
Whenever the time comes.
And of course,
And we'll invite you all over. Just come on.
yeah. Okay, one of your favorite games. What do we play? Oh, obviously,
Watch.
cornhole.
Cornhole's a good one.
Cornhole. Well, it's called like bags or beanbag toss or whatever. Put the bag in the hole. It's called cornhole here.
2 balls.
Oh, and then that's ladder ball.
Ladder ball.
Yeah, ladder ball
that's
is
fun.
great. We play by the water. We play spike ball or
in the water.
frisbee
spike
cups,
ball.
like
In
the
water,
cups
too.
on the in the water, like the cups on the sticks, and then you throw the frisbee, and then you have to catch it. That's a fun game.
Yeah,
That's a fun game. But that one, and when we play spike ball, you have to have a drink in one hand. So I feel like, if we were being invited over to a barbecue or inviting people, some people show up with, obviously with some snacks, and snacks is a big thing. And then you show up with your own cooler, right? There's always a cooler of cool stuff. And so I'm not a beer drinker. Usually there's a lot of beer in those coolers. You're not a beer drinker either.
No.
So, making cocktails is not always handy when you need to go and grab and go and put in a cooler. But finally found something that I can drink that's not sweet. So it's the seltzers. My favorite right now is the High Noon. So we made a little cooler with ice and seltzers and snacks.
The favorite snack in there, you got to show it.
Mr. HP's favorite snacks.
Show the barbecue ones.
Pistachios. This is his favorite. A chili roasted, but there's a new one, you
They're
guys.
so good.
There's a new one. Barbecue.
Ooh.
Barbecue pistachios. So guess what
Delicious.
will be happening between the next two segments. And so which flavor do you want? We got watermelon, mango, pineapple, or passion fruit. You can pick.
Passion fruit, please.
Passion fruit, okay. I'll do the pineapple. That's my favorite. All right, so as we crack these open, because it's hot outside. Now, if I was standing by the grill, my hair would probably be up. I put a new quilt
Ooh, it's so
in the
cold.
corner.
Cheers.
Cheers. New quilt in the corner. Oh, Kobe's here. Kobe, you want to say hi? New quilt in the corner. That's the Marina quilt. And Marina is in my mixology book, the first mixology book. And it's got kind of a nautical theme to it, but like lobsters and fish and stuff. So, sometimes we eat really good seafood, occasionally. So it would be great for, I'm sure you guys that live on the coast missed some crab boils and things like that. So beautiful thing. So cheers, everybody, to part 2. Are you ready to get into the next instruction?
Yay!
All right. So next instruction for our part 2, loving your progress. Part 1 was fairly easy. It was fun to see some of you. It's like, oh, got to remember right sides together. So some of you are bringing Jack the Ripper out. I had to do it myself. I did it myself. I was in a hurry putting those together that I showed you earlier. But in part 2, we're gonna do in the pattern. We're gonna go through steps 7 through 12. Okay. So we're gonna start with the units B, so we're gonna switch to our overhead. And units B, you're gonna be taking the leftover pieces from when you cut step 1, the skinny ones, both the darks and we're going to start with the darks, and then the light units that you cut from the 7.5 inch. Cut from the 7.5 inch strip, and we're going to take those, and we're going to be sewing these to each side. Now you are going to notice that Some of them are not they're not the same size. Some of them are, just a few of them are, but not all of them. So don't worry about that. What I do, I just center it on here, right sides together. You want to sew. You can sew both sides, but however, you only want to press one side. So we have the light in the middle, so you press towards the dark. But we only want to press the one side. We don't want to press the other side because then it becomes too long for us to subcut. So we're just going to leave this folded. And then you're going to do, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit into kind of over into step 10 because you can make all of these and then subcut them at the same time. So the step 10 is just opposite. You have the dark in the middle and then you put light on each side. And this one you want to press towards the dark. So again, we only press one side, so we have that seam over here. So then as we move through step 9 to do the subcutting, just like we did before, you can stack them up using the lines on your cutting mat. And what I try to do, because the middle units are all the same size, so what I try to do when if you want to stack is make them line up, not these edges. Make the outsides line up. And then I want to just make sure that these are straight on lines so I can get my seams right. Maybe only 2 at a time here, because what we want to do is align the ruler. Of course, we want to use the stitch line just like we did before. Stitch line just like we did before. But I have to make sure that the 0 slit on my ruler is going to catch this middle part, just a little bit of it, to trim a sliver off. So making sure this is straight. This is not quite straight here, so I got to adjust just a little bit. And of course, you always have the option of just cutting one at a time. Just cut one at a time. So what I want to do is align with on the ruler with the stitch lines. And then I want to check my seam line down here and make sure that one is parallel as well. So it doesn't have to land on the line, but we want to have that parallel along with this one. And then we are ready to cut. And it's going to be the same segments as before. So the markings on my ruler are just going to be good. And of course, depending on which size you are working on, the pattern will tell you exactly how many you need of the B units. So once you have these cut, so the B units with the light center, we're going to go ahead and press them towards the dark, of course. So these are pressed towards the dark. And then our darker units, the dark centers, which I talk about in step 10, you're going to press them towards the dark. So we have the opposites here. And the pattern will tell you exactly, depending on your size, how many you need total of light centers and dark centers, which is always going to be the exact same number. So that is what we're going to be doing in part 2. However, we're going to move through and make our C units as well. So you're going to have your B units like this. And then we're going to have our C units. And we're going to make those as well. So the C units are going to be done with your long rectangles that you cut from the light and the dark. Here they are, from your lights and your darks. Now, you cut those in step 2 of the cutting instructions. So you have your lights and your darks, and then you should have your squares. And remember, in the video, if you watch the video, I had extra squares. I had lots of extra squares because I like to have a variety. So I want to make a few of each, especially if you're doing scrappy. So all you want to do here is sew the light squares to the dark rectangles. Right sides together, you're going to sew. And here, and then opposite with the light rectangles. you're going to sew a dark square to this one. And then we're going to press towards the dark. Keep going with that, just like the arrows say. And you have in there exactly how many you will need of each. And once we're done with that, we're done with all of our pieces, our little bitty pieces. So let's check on some of your questions. Do we sew the 4-inch strip to the long or short side of large block? So we cut 7.5-inch strips, so that's always going to be the length. So it's going to be the 8.5 this way. So it's the width between them. This is that long 7.5-inch strip. So it's going to be the same as we did with the A units. Once it's sewn, they're going to be the same size here. All right?
I'm supposed to ask you this.
It's the same. I just answered that question.
Okay. Got you.
Same question. All right. Yes. Same question. Okay. Let me see. Let me see if I see any questions too. Right sides together. If the two lines are not parallel, when you're laying them down. So if you get a unit that's a little wonky, make sure you cut that one by itself, because sometimes that happens. So what you really want to do is get as close as you can. So split the difference or something like that, because honestly, this pattern is really, really forgiving. So what should rule out is the stitch line and not the other one, okay? Because it's a really forgiving pattern. I'm mostly confused with which leftover pieces were for which instruction. So if you read the pattern, Kat, it will tell you from which step it is. So if you were cutting and you marked your units, so for example, the leftover pieces, it says from step 1. So it will get the 4-inch leftover pieces from step 1. So there's no confusion there. So just make sure you read through each of the steps. If you're using different patterns for background, does it matter which you put on each side? No, I would mix it up. I mix it up. As you can see, I have always have different ones on each side. So, and I have some black, some teal, some pink. So sometimes I put a pink and a teal. Doesn't matter. I always do a different one just to mix things up. So we are way past step 2. So there's a reason, because you're going to use it. There's always a reason for everything. There's nowhere where you cut. That's for 2 is for the lap size. So you take 2 4-inch strips. Okay. That's just the extras
when
that
did we
we
get
needed.
to the drink?
Next segment. We wanted to wait until after, let the morning pass for most of us. But, do whatever you want to do. Do whatever you want to do.
Should you set seams with flannel?
Set the seams. Yeah, I always go over the seams, whatever I'm doing, because you know what that does? And what I'm talking about is, how before I push the piece out, I set the seams by ironing over it, and then I fold the piece out to press it. What that does, it compresses your threads and also your fabric, so it's easier to fold it over. So the seams will always, the threads will always kind of meld into the fabric. You will actually, if you've ever had to rip out a seam that has been pressed before versus a seam that hasn't been pressed, you will notice the difference. It's harder to rip it out if you've pressed it. It's because the threads kind of compress, and it makes it easier to fold over. All right.
What's going on the Barbie?
What's going on the Barbie? It's somebody maybe from Australia on the Barbie.
Okay.
What are you putting on the barbecue? What is one of the favorite things? So like we just talked about, we don't eat meat, but we make all kinds of burgers. to put on the barbecue. Veggie burgers, black bean burgers, one of my favorites. We do some of the
Grilled
Beyond
veggies and
meat
rice.
burgers.
It's really. We do fried rice and veggies and stuff.
Yes, fried rice and veggies. But then, we don't obviously eat hot dogs. And I've never really loved meat, so I'm not so much for getting like the fake meat or the fake hot dogs. I was just never really a lover of that. Except I do love the hot dogs in Iceland. And they have a vegan one, so it's good. That's only to get at the hot dog stand in Iceland. But that's another story.
It's all about what goes with it.
Yeah. But one
sauce.
hot dog that does not sound very appetizing, but if you are experimental and like to try new things, it's called carrot dogs. Yes, you make kind of like a hot dog
surprisingly
with carrots.
good.
So you actually braise the carrots in like a liquid that has like liquid smoke and stuff, so it gets a little smoky and a lot of herbs and spices. And then you can grill it, and then you put it on a hot dog bun with all kinds of what you would call bougie stuff.
Bougie.
Like cilantro pesto or something like that. But you can put just regular stuff, and it's actually
regular stuff.
really
All we need is regular
tasty.
stuff.
The first time I made it, I was like, I don't know, this just does not look right, but let's try it, and it was surprisingly delicious. So if you want to try something new, a healthy version of hot dogs, carrot dogs. Very low cal with the carrot versus the hot dog, I have
People
to
are
say.
like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? But you know
Where's
what?
my brat? Where's my...
Yeah. But, I just thought I'd throw it out there. If you want to try it, try it. But let's do our giveaways. I hope you've been commenting because a random generator will generate prize winners. So we have loads more of the charm packs. So we'll do 3 charm packs for 2 winners.
Do you grill mushrooms?
Oh, love grilled mushrooms.
Ooh,
the portobellas.
best.
Like that grill a whole portobello as that's your hamburger patty. Love those.
Some just like the carrots raw.
Huh?
Some folks just like the carrots raw.
Yeah, I like them too. I like them raw too.
I don't.
Believe me, when I saw this recipe, I was not convinced, and I kept hearing about it. It was really good. I'm like, okay, I guess I gotta try it.
That's probably the only way I'd eat carrots.
The carrot dogs?
Yeah. Otherwise,
yeah, he's not much for raw vegetables.
not much for the carrots.
I have to kind of force them to even eat our salads. And not force you.
No.
It's good when it's there, but you don't go to it automatically.
Why do that when you got other good stuff?
When you
Just
got
gets in the way.
pistachios and popcorn
It's
and
roughage.
pretzels. Okay.
Winner?
Winners. Let's check out the winners.
Winner, carrot dog dinner.
Carrot dog dinner. Mandy Lassiter and Norma Cook. Yay! You got some charm packs coming your way. So make sure you send an email to help@gquiltdesigns, and we will send these out to you next week. Congrats. So keep posting your progress. We save those photos, and we'll post them in the next segment. So make sure that you not finish, but at least some units from the B units and some units from the C units. And then in the next part, we'll start assembling the blocks. So that's it for us for now. Bye, everybody. See you in a little bit.